when uh, when I think back to like the major economic crises of my lifetime, recessions, things along those lines. I mean, it's like I think back to the 2008 housing crisis, and that was largely driven by Wall Street getting out of pocket because they wanted to make money. And so they did their subpar mortgages and they bundled those into A, B, and C tranches and had swaps and the whole house of cards fell down. But those guys were doing it for money. And then we had the global financial crisis of 2008. And then I remember, I think it was back like, fuck, I don't even know, man, like in the late 80s or the early 90s, we had that savings and loan crisis. And I mean, the difference obviously was like the savings and loan crisis was a similar kind of thing. A lot of guys doing shady stuff for money. A bunch of those guys went to prison. By the time the 2008 financial crisis happens, digging out of that in Obama's first term, nobody got prosecuted for that. And now it's like, I look at what Donald Trump is doing, and it's like, I'm wondering, has there ever been in history another time when a president destroyed the economy on purpose? Like, that's the goal. A president drove this country into, at a minimum, a recession, and that was the goal. Because it's like, when I think about prior recessions, it's like the economy is cyclical. You just have recessions every now and then. And then you get these dipshits and the savings loan thing and the Wall Street with their subpar mortgages, and it's like the negligence of other people that's driven by greed. But it just doesn't seem like we should call what's happening right now. It doesn't feel like we should use the same labels as we've used in the past. It doesn't feel like we should call this a stock market crash when it is being crashed on purpose. It doesn't feel like we should call what we're heading into a recession when it's not cyclical. It's being done on purpose by the President of the United States. I feel like we need some new terms. I feel like we need new terms for this because it's being done on purpose. The destruction of our economy is intentional. The destruction of the stock market is intentional. The destruction of the global economy is intentional. The destruction of the global order is intentional. And it's like, yeah, I know who Curtis Yarvin is and Peter Thiel. It's like, Curtis Yarvin and Peter Thiel don't have any fucking influence over Donald Trump whatsoever because their inroad to Donald Trump is J.D. Vance. I don't think Donald Trump even likes J.D. Vance. He clearly doesn't like hanging out with him at all. Would you want to hang out with J.D. Vance? If you were the most powerful person on the planet, would you want to spend any time whatsoever with J.D. Vance? I don't think those guys' influence is getting to Trump. I, I'm very tired of living through uncharted history in unprecedented times. It's getting really fucking old. It's getting really old. But I feel like we need new terminology for this stuff. Let me know what you think in the comments.